It is now October, which means that we are getting a Halloween movie this month on the 14th. It's supposed to be the final movie in the series, or at least the final movie featuring Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode. It's the last movie in this new continuity that David Gordon Green is directing. And so, therefore, I figured why not review every Halloween movie? Let's revisit them, shall we? Halloween was released in 1978, directed by John Carpenter, starring Donald Pleasence and Jamie Lee Curtis. And this is, to this day, my favorite horror movie of all time. And I'm just going to go ahead and jump into it, starting off with the good. And like I said, this is my favorite horror movie of all time. There's a lot that I just absolutely love about this movie. Starting off with the acting, Donald Pleasence is terrific as Dr. Loomis. I love the Dr. Loomis character, and in my opinion, Dr. Loomis is more Michael's main enemy than Laurie Strode is. Obviously, they had to double back and make Laurie Strode the main enemy since Donald Pleasence passed away after Halloween 6. But either way, I love the way he plays this character who's willing to stop evil at all costs, whatever it takes. And he's trying to warn the sheriff of this town who's not taking him seriously. And just the seriousness in his voice and the speech he gives about how evil Michael Myers is, it's absolutely terrific. Donald Pleasence really should have won an Oscar for this movie, in my opinion. I just really love the way he plays the character. And my favorite actress of all time is actually Jamie Lee Curtis, and this was the movie that really catapulted her into the spotlight as Laurie Strode in this movie. And she's absolutely terrific in this movie as well. I really love, like I said, Jamie Lee Curtis is my favorite actress of all time. Laurie Strode is one of my favorite final girls of all time. Do I think that this franchise should have, kept focusing on Laurie Strode? In my personal opinion, no. But I am glad to get more Jamie Lee Curtis whenever I can. And I just really loved the way she plays this innocent schoolgirl who just gets caught up in all this madness on Halloween night. And the reveal that Michael is her brother doesn't come until the second movie, so it really adds to the creep factor of them not being related in this movie, where he just sees her and is like, alright, I'm gonna kill you next. And it's just an amazing movie from beginning to end. Charles Cyphers plays the sheriff, and I really liked him in this movie. Sheriff Brackett, I think he's a really good character. One of my personal favorite characters of the Halloween franchise. Despite the fact that he's not in a whole bunch of movies, he's only in like 3 in this continuity, and he's in both Rob Zombie remakes, but that's not in this continuity. Either way, I like the way he plays the character. He's doubtful of Dr. Loomis's warnings, but he humors him, he plays along with it, and eventually finds out, yeah, Dr. Loomis is not lying here. And then I like the characters of Tommy Doyle and Lindsay. They're the children that Laurie Strode is babysitting here. And I really liked Laurie's 2 friends in this movie who get killed off by Michael Myers. And obviously, this is the main event of the movie. The man, Michael Myers, my favorite slasher of all time. Absolutely terrifying. He's played by Nick Castle in this movie, and he is amazing. He's an absolutely badass horror slasher. He's terrifying. His breathing is very haunting. The mask is as iconic as a horror mask can get, with the William Shatner mask with the cutout eyes and the face painted white. It's just amazing seeing how this movie was actually made on a shoestring budget, so that was the only mask they could afford, and honestly, they were better off for it with a simple mask like this. It really showcases the emotionless side of Michael Myers in what he's doing. I really, really love that. And then aside from the characters, I just love the atmosphere building of this movie. It's very masterful, it's very suspenseful. It's also a slow burn movie, so if it was released today, general audiences would probably hate it, because they call it boring, like they do with every slow burn horror movie. But either way, I just love the suspense that builds throughout the movie. You get a couple kills here and there, but none of it really comes to a head up until the final act of this movie, where Michael's chasing Laurie down the street through the house, and eventually Dr. Loomis shows up to save her, shoots him 6 times. Then he looks down to find out he's gone, he's still alive somewhere, and it ends with Michael's breathing while the classic theme song plays. And that's another thing that's terrific about this movie, is the use of the theme song. It's easily one of my favorite horror movie theme songs of all time. I don't know if I would technically call it my favorite horror movie theme song of all time, because the theme song from Saw is also pretty good, and the Candyman theme as well. But that's aside the point. The theme in this movie is unmatched. It's absolutely terrific. One of my favorites of all time. Very creepy, very simple as well. It's just some piano music, but it's very creepy. And also, I have to address the kills in this movie. There aren't very many. There's like 3 or 4, maybe 5. I don't particularly recall. But they are very impactful for when they do happen. And yes, this isn't a very gory movie. This was, again, made on a shoestring budget, so they couldn't really afford a lot of the gore effects, I believe. But they're very impactful, and you get the point of what's going on here. They don't really go into the gory kills until the second movie, because Friday the 13th basically forced their hand. But either way, it's just very great with all the kills in this movie. And that's about all for the good. Let's go ahead on to the bad. And I mean it when I say this movie's a masterpiece. It's not me exaggerating. This is a legitimately great movie with nothing wrong with it. So, final thoughts. Halloween is still, to this day, my favorite horror movie of all time. So, Halloween, like I said, it's an amazing movie. Terrific characters. Great story, amazing suspense building, and I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. So those are my thoughts on Halloween 1978. Have you seen this movie? What did you think about it? Let me know down in the comments. As always, I'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all in tomorrow's review for Halloween 2.